This video is addressed to Aaron Vela and Carissa Vela. And it is my understanding that you intend and you discussed intending to adopt our two children, Ape and Alu McDaniel, at the CRB today. That you actually thought it was funny. Okay? So you are basically attempting to take something which is not yours. And you go to church and claim to be a Christian. Now figure out the mathematics of this. You are involved in trying to take something that's not yours. You are involved in trying to take two little children who are not yours. And while DHS has set this up, from Aubrey Havocost to Sara Scott, Amber McClellan, Laurel Gold, Stacy Dashner, Rose Carpenter, all the people who were involved, who facilitated this. And let me remind you that I told Aubrey Havocost in 2017 and 2018 January that you have separated out Ape McDaniel and Alu McDaniel for the sole purpose of adopting them out. So lo and behold, here's Carissa Vela in Independence, Oregon, saying that she needs a daughter. She's going to keep these kids. She's going to keep this little girl that doesn't belong to her. Well, I need you to ask yourself if we are going to fail to publicize what you are doing, you and Aaron. To ask yourself, what is the mathematics of this? Can we do this before God and everybody and get away with it to where it won't bring just bad karma into our lives? Who knows what that would be, but it's like if you go down to Walmart and you steal thousands of dollars worth of merchandise over a period of a couple of months and then say, well, it doesn't matter, it'll never affect my reputation. I'll never get caught, and they never do anything to us anymore if we do get caught. That's mathematics. So you're saying that using your name, Aaron Vela and Carissa Vela, that anybody who asks us can be told that Carissa Vela and Aaron Vela are not innocent bystanders who are just providing a service to DHS, but they are actively involved and parties to the attempt to keep these children that don't belong to you. Let me emphasize that. These children don't belong to you, and you're actively involved in trying to take them and make them your own. And if you succeed, with a very limited meaning of the word succeed, if you get this little guy, Steve Walls, if you get the court to go along with you and TPR those kids and you get to adopt them, you may consider that success. It is not. It's like when someone's been trying real hard as yourself to steal something and pretend that they're not actually stealing, and they take this motorcycle out of somebody else's backyard and they walk it down the sidewalk and put it in their backyard and say, well, it's in my backyard now. Possession is 9/10 of the law. I didn't steal it because I had a tailwind and the wind was blowing me down the sidewalk, and it just so happened I had a motorcycle with me at the time, but I wasn't planning on stealing the motorcycle. It just sort of happened that way. And you, like Pilate, try to wash your hands of what you are intrinsically 100% involved in and motivated to do. So repeatedly, Ape doesn't show up for the visits. Steve Walls is perfectly fine with this. You try to create a case, separation anxiety, and Ape needs to be in counseling, and the visits are too stressful. You have made things stressful. You are grooming Apia not to go to the visits with myself or her mother. So I want to ask you how you're going to stop the publicity, because I'm really good at publicity, and I'm going to continue to publicize what you're involved in and that you are taking something that doesn't belong to you. Okay? I have a fair number of contacts in the Hispanic community that know the extended Vela community. We're not just going to ignore what you're doing. We're not just going to say, oh, she adopted him, the court gave him to her, and we're walking away. No, we're not. And those kids, the really amazing thing, and I don't know if you have, you're psycho or you have low IQ, or you're, sleeping with the pastor of your church, and so all sense of morality is out the window. I don't know if you're sleeping in the baptismal with the pastor of your church, or under the altar. I have no idea where your moral compass is, but it would seem that you would take, like, even Alum tells me, yeah, chess is a somewhat complicated game. And I would assume that you would learn from Alum the chess game, because the chess game is about the end game. So Alum is going to grow up, and Apia is going to grow up, and they are going to be able to look at all the documents in every step of the way, how Carissa Vela and Aaron Vela were hostile to the siblings and did everything in their power to keep these little kids from going home. It wasn't about being a foster mom sicko. It was about guaranteeing that you get to adopt kids that aren't yours, and that Sara Scott makes it work for you. It's not going to happen. You're going to have an end game with those kids, and they're going to find out what you have done, and they're going to hate you with a passion that doesn't get put out. Those two kids. It's inevitable. It's inevitable, because guess what? They have older brothers and sisters to testify to what you did all the way along the way. Testify how you were involved, that you weren't an innocent bystander just taking care of those kids till they get handed back over to the family, and especially that you did not want them to go to their mother. Okay? You don't know their mother. You laugh at her and ridicule her, and you think it's funny. That's like a barometer on your IQ. And so you've signed up, made it very clear that you have no interest in their family, no interest in their siblings, and these videos are going to be here. You had no interest in their mother. You had not one sense of compassion for their mother. And you will regret in your life the choices you have made, because it's math. You can't sleep with the pastor of your church in the baptismal and not have it come back on your life. And you can't steal children from parents who don't want to give them up and fight you and try to groom the daughter away from her mother. You can't do it. You have no honor. You have no sense of shame. You have no morality. You make a joke. You're the kind of people that cause people to blaspheme the church because you have no morality. You don't care what happens as long as you get what you want in the short term. So Apia and Alum turn a year older on July 25th. Alum will be 10. He's got a few more years. We're gone almost 7 years now. We didn't quit fighting. And the publicity about what you have done and been a party to will be astronomical. Your name will be a household name in the state of Oregon and nationwide. It already is. Lots of people know what you're involved in. You just don't know what you're involved in. You just don't know how many people know what you're involved in. You're basically trying to steal our children. You know it. And you are just too dumb and too ignorant to understand that you're playing a game with children's lives and that those children will grow up and they will find out every detail of what you did and your involvement. And then it won't be funny anymore at the CRB. Oh yeah, I'm going to adopt these kids. Oh yeah, she'd make a great adoptive mom. You think it's just as easy as that? You're not a wise person. You're not a chess player. You have no knowledge of the game of chess. And you have no knowledge that we have thousands of pages of records where DHS Dallas Oregon has done everything in their power to make those kids alienated and set them up for adoption. Sara Scott, all the people that are named above. And you need to think about it. Places of employment. Churches. There's lots of churches that know what you're up to. Tradesmen. People who work on houses. We talk. Okay? You need to think about it. You're going to do what you're going to do. The time's going to go on. And we will continue to publicize what you've done. It's not just what you're going to do. It's what you've done over the years so far, what you've been a party to. And that you have no compassion for their mother. And, you know, it reminds me of heinous criminals who, when they're in court, they laugh about what they did to their victims. I mean, you're in the same category. Independence is a small place. Monmouth is a small place. Marion, Polk County are small places. Oregon's a small place. But you will be a household name. People in all kinds of other states will continue to find out that you're involved in taking children that don't belong to you and to which you have no right. DHS can say you have a right. The court can say you have a right, but you have no moral right. And you have never showed any concern or compassion, and you claim to believe in a God who has compassion, which you make a joke of. And so those are your choices. You decide on what you're going to do, and it's going to be funny. We'll never give up on Apen Alu McDaniel. You think it's funny. Sara Scott thinks it's funny. They think this is just how you do things. It's pretty pathetic. It's basically trafficking in children. And you're the destination. It's like being a cartel member. MS-13. Okay, it's okay in your world. It's really unwise on your part. It's very immoral on your part. It's not going to be like, oh, these kids are going to end up being 16, 17, and we're just going to brainwash them the entire time, and nobody else is going to have any say about it. They're brothers and sisters. We're just going to cut them off for everything. Good luck on that.